Okay?
I wouldn't.
The things that you don't know.
You're already live, you know.
Yeah, that's a small thing. The things that you don't know, just leave out. But you have your math facts and you have all kind of things to do. Now I'm hot. I put on a sweater and now all of a sudden I'm hot. That's because I turned up the air conditioner same time thing. Where's everybody? Like nobody's here. Oh yeah, the people are. Fine. Alright. Jessie Lee's next to me.
Doing school.
Doing school. Because we're delinquent and we haven't finished
And
school.
look at this. I'm in grade 2, right? But this book is in grade 3. And I have to do 1,000, take away 64.
640, buddy, not take away 64.
See?
Well, yeah, but you could use paper. She's just trying to do it in her brain.
Yeah, then I'll get a prize.
She's trying to get a Math Genius badge that I have to make. She have a real thing to do. I don't even know why she here. Y'all see in the blanket on my table, on my dining room table.
That's my fort.
She's a fort going on in my dining room. Let me see if I could raise this up. Bend your head, let me see. If we could show them the kind of stuff that be going on in my house. Trying to keep my house clean. Impossible, you know. I used to have OCD.
What does that mean?
It means that my house was never in a mess. Things were never out of place. In fact, I remember people used to laugh at me because I would like, every time I pass, touch the chair and straighten it a little bit. I tell you, parenting, huh? The ultimate cure for OCD. You just had to leave the fort.
OCD.
It's all creativity.
Mommy's OCD.
No, I'm not anymore. I feel I need to take the sweater off. I don't want to take the sweater off because I'm kind of in a home dress here. So, do me a favor now. Turn down the air conditioner.
Turn down?
Yeah, put it on 24. I put it high up because, yeah, because I could, like down, press it down. Yeah. Yeah, colder. Yeah, because.
This is the first time I saw you.
I know, because you had it freezing. You had it freezing.
This is my first time I ever see so many people watching at one time.
What do you mean, girl? My live's popular. The first time she ever see so many people watching, but she fast. Let me see if I could find who watching here. Ariana, you didn't miss it this time. Brandon, boy. I wonder, Brandon, you in clothes? I was thinking about, I put me in no now because I have a few different things that I wanted to talk about. So I know how long.
Mommy's OCD.
I never know. Okay, I'm stuck. Guys, I'm sorry. I have no idea why I cannot, I can't see. Brandon, type it is that we could, if we could add you to the live, because if we could add you to the live, we can actually I wanted to do the thing on how to choose SEA schools. So if we can, actually I can add you to both of them, because so y'all need to comment, because I have two different options, right? Yo, how we reach 17? I tell the child, put it on 24, because she had it freezing before. I come out and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm freezing. Oh, I said 24. She had on 17. And she's be sleeping and that kind of behavior, you know. Hey, Ricardo from Barbados. Okay, come on, Brandon. Let me know if you're in clothes and if you're willing to do an on-the-spot live with me. And I'm going to share my screen with you. And then you'll answer some questions. And then in the meantime, you guys need to comment which ones you prefer. My first topic that I was going to do was homeschooling is not a fad. The second topic was how to choose. Oh, not now though. Brandon bus.
It's on 24, but the remote says it's on 24. But it's when
yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Okay, so Brandon is not available, so y'all just have to deal with me.
Why? Because he's not in clothes.
Me know he must be in pajamas. And you want us to see in pajamas?
Seriously?
Yeah.
This girl is in home clothes.
Don't expose me. Don't expose me. As y'all can see, I just got up. Literally just got up. My child took me early this morning to paddle boots.
Me? I didn't
Paddle board.
workout.
To paddle board.
You're the one who made me come.
Well, I didn't make it go. Your coaches make it go. So we were paddle boarding.
How dare you, coaches? You want me to learn I'm not a morning person. I have to wake up 6.
Oh, damn.
And I normally wake up at 10.
Yeah, you see, Jessie, go do your work. Thank you, Auntie Jenny. Leave my life and go do your work. That's why she can't finish school and it's still Sunday night. Always up in big people thing, you know. It's hard.
Yeah, and you're making me do things.
Alright, well, go pick up poop and the rest of your stuff then.
I'm doing.
You have a list to do.
Work.
Get to your list.
I'm doing my work.
Okay, bye.
I'm already doing my work.
Bye.
Yeah.
Right. Energetic child, boy. You would think she'd knock out and fall asleep after this morning. Like, when I got, like, I swear to y'all, I was like, I need to get up. I should eat. I need to get up. I was so exhausted. Then I looked at let's do the SCA choosing. Okay, seeing that only one person voted, we're going to do the SCA choosing. Only when you talk about Jessie and Jessie energy and send Jessie to do school, although I appreciate the send Jessie to do school.
I don't like you anymore.
That's okay, we don't like you neither.
Hey, take that back. You'll love me.
Move your bean. Right, SCA is choosing, is that what we're doing? My daughter's writing next year, so that's why you want to do it. Did you see the article? Brendan Butts, who's on right now, he refuses to let me like tune him in, so we can actually hear his voice. He's the one that did it, and actually, I mean, it was a really, really, really good article. I spent some time trying to understand the whole thing so that, you know, I could sound halfway intelligent. My eyes looking all black. Oh, jeez. This is why I should try to use this makeup thing, you know. What is she doing? Oh, very good. Using the blocks like I was teaching you. Very good. That's why it's called a review. She's doing reviews. AKA TESTS. But we just call it reviews.
What does it called? That mean?
Reviews. That's what it's called. Look at it. Review.
I realize that. Review because lesson review 1.
Very good. Come.
Hey, I'm doing my thing.
Okay.
So, leave me be. Leave me.
And she flings her hair. I have hair to fling too, you know.
Give me a break.
My nose running. Okay. Nobody else message. I need to do it with this hand so I do like totally block out. So we're doing SCA choosing. Maybe. Alright. This is gonna be quick. So we might actually do both. I don't have anything to say about this SCA choosing that will last a half an hour. But I do know that there are a lot of people that do not read articles, so I tend to try to do anything that I know we have in writing that people are interested in. I try to actually do audio of it as well. So those people like me who will never read could just watch and learn. After reading all of these great stuff by Brendan Butts, I realized we need to stop using the word first choice school. Because when you think about it, I wonder, hold on now, what I should do is I should probably pull up the article and pull up the hey look, I could see myself live on my laptop. This is so cool, like really cool. I could see different things going on. Watching the laptop is very confusing, but I want to pull it up. Brendan here, so yeah, but I can't click on it there. I need to click on it on my laptop so that I can check out what you wrote, so that I could say it here for those people that aren't going to read your article. Although I think it's very, you know what it's like, I really laughed because he used, and I don't know if he used that in part, like specifically for a purpose. Don't shake, don't pound the table.
I need help.
Well, that's why I told you to leave it alone and go and do the rest of your stuff. So let's close this up. Go and do the rest of your stuff. You can still get your Math Genius badge. It's okay. Singapore math, guys. That's what we use. Singapore math. Yes, so I found it. So I found it very funny that we all go, this SA system sucks. Trinidad sucks. Blah 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 blah.
Trinidad rules.
And Singapore, who we all look to for education, is exactly what he used to model our education system and to explain it. Right. Anyways, so let me find this article on Facebook, not on my cell phone.
Mommy, would you like some water?
So that I can, would I like some water? Oh jeez, I posted these pictures, right? But I couldn't find a way to edit the pictures. And I'm not on my phone now, so I can't like, turn it. Anyways, I don't really need all of this. Well, I don't need the pictures. What I wanted to point out, like like for instance, the first thing that I want, because I want to talk about first choice schools, right? Like people tend to go, oh, she passed for her first choice. Oh, she passed for her first choice. At the end of the day, you could put a 50% school as your first choice and pass for your first choice versus a 90% school and pass for your first choice and it still be your first choice. So, I mean, I'm going to just sound mean, but the whole pass for her first choice, pass for her first choice, like, it's kind of like we put more emphasis on, like, a first choice does not necessarily mean that it's a prestige school. It just means it's your first choice. And if you're smart about it, which is what Brendan explains, is that you will use the guidelines, the percentage guidelines, and I say guidelines, not law, to help you, right? So for instance, QRC, which is a pretty prestigious school, and St. Francois, which is a pretty prestigious school, are both lower percentages than your Fatima, CIC, St. Joseph, holy names, right? If your child is not necessarily like a high 90 percenter, if she is scoring 95 and up consistently, that's one thing, right? Because he talks about like looking at what your child's academic ability is and being realistic about it. Then he talks about things like, and the additions, school profiles that I'd posted on CARE, that was very helpful as well because they spoke about things like what sports they play and stuff in each school. I mean, well, I'm using these particular examples only because I know those schools better than I could speak about presentation or NAPS or whatever, and I don't have those portfolios in front of me without turning my laptop upside down because I cannot for the life of me figure out how to rotate these pictures. Oh well, technology is not my thing. Right, so, back in the day, Fatima did not necessarily have like a really awesome extracurricular activity. When I say back in the day, not like in my brother's time, but more like in my time. But QRC was a little bit more well-rounded. So you may choose to go to QRC versus the Fatima because the culture may be different. It may be more in tune with what your child is up to. So you want to choose things like that as well, right? So those are, I think, based on the article and all the different things that I've been trying to wrap my head around, we need to choose schools, like don't let dogma and society and all this nonsense choose schools for you, right? Because your child has to be comfortable. In fact, there was a study done with people that in Harvard, right? And funny enough, let's say we're doing 95 to 100%, right? The 95 percenters would have done better going to a 90 to 95 school because their confidence level, they would have been at a comfortable rate. And that was a study that was done at Harvard because we tend to like to say, well, put them and push them, let them go into the 95 to 100 school because then they'll push and they'll get to 100. But what they realized when they done the study was that they were actually doing worse because the 100 percenters, which were like real geniuses and just they were cruising and whatnot, it was having a really bad impact on the 95 percenters. So it was damaging their confidence. They just were not able to cope. And so they would have actually done better had they not gone to Harvard and gone to a school that was good, but not in your 100 percenters. So sometimes you'd find that if someone goes to a St. Francois or a Providence that is still a good school but requires a lesser percentage, then they may be working at a better pace for that child. So it may be worth your while to put a first choice as a St. Francois or a Providence, which are still good schools. I couldn't say it better. Yay! Because he doesn't want to come on live to do it, so I have to do it myself. And y'all know I don't like to be talking these kind of things because I, as a parent, fighting up with life the same way. Anyway, so good to know that he says that I'm doing a good job with this whole thing. So it's better to send your child to like a St. Francois or a Providence than to say, okay, I'm going to force them to go to St. Joseph. Because you're now dealing with, and the truth is, I'm now going to go to a second point. I'm kind of like muddling into a second point. Understand that the guidelines, the school portfolio, those are just guidelines, because you may say, okay, well, my child hits 95 every single year, right? Cool. So we choose St. Joseph as your first choice. No problem. And then you say, okay, but she didn't pass for St. Joseph, she passed for second choice. Second choice might be Providence, right? But you look at your SCA card and you're like, well, my child make 96%. How come she made the grade for convent and she didn't reach there? What you need to understand, and this is where the Singapore, what is the word? Oh my gosh, I can't remember words. Oh, my brain. The illustration, that's the word, the illustration, right? If St. Joseph only has 200 places, and 200 the Singapore model, that can work as well. If, I wanted to say illustration because it was a picture that we'd actually put in the article. If 200 children score 99%, which, believe it or not, happens very regularly, then your 96%, unfortunately, not gonna cut it, because they can't take in every child that wants to go to St. Joseph that scores within the range. So yes, you have to use it as a guide to determine, okay, what schools can I put for my child? So you need to look and say, okay, St. Joseph, Holy Name, I think SAGs. I really wish that maybe I should turn my laptop upside down so I could have the portfolios in front of me. So yes, if your child's hitting 95% and she's really comfortable academically and you think that she can handle extracurricular, tons of academics, really high performing kids, and you want to put St. Joseph, then cool, big up. But understand that if, and as I say, it happens regularly, if 200 kids score 99%, then you're not going to get your first choice and you're going to have to be bumped down to what your second choice is. In my year, my mother, well, I don't think it was my mother, I think it was my brother Mark, and I love him to death still for it. He obviously saw more than we all saw, because nobody thought I was passing for any first choice. But he put St. Joseph, then he put Holy Name, and then he put Providence, right? If your child is a really high performer, like, genius kind of stuff, clearly that's what he thought I was, then go right ahead, because the truth is, again, if she scores 96% in SCA and St. Joseph 200 people gone with the 99%ers, they'll drop to the second choice and she'll be within the range of acceptable percentages. Now, of course, if everybody genius and you have all the 99, 100% and 99 gone convent, and then Holy Name still full up with another 99% because a lot of people put Holy Name as their first choice that year and whatever. Well, we're going to bump down to third choice. So it is a combination. It's not just you get the grade, you get into the school, right? Because it's a range of grades. So it has to be, so the country's is like, so you basically go, okay, everybody who put St. Joseph, let's take the list of them, and then only the top 200 go in. So it's not everyone who passes for St. Joseph can go. It's not a passing thing, it's a placing thing. Sorry guys, I feel so dehydrated because after paddle boating, socialite of mine decided she did not want to go home. And I just feel bad because during the week she don't socialize, well, much. I don't know what much is. I still think she must be get more socialization than lunchtime play with other children. But anyway, so I just leave her to play, and I had to fall asleep on a bench and blazing sun. I put something over my head, and so now my skin feels burnt and I feel so thirsty. So this talking is killing me, and my eyes feel kind of hot and all kind of. Y'all know how it works when you come out to the beach and thing. Too bad it wasn't the beach and it was paddleboarding. Oh, my legs still hurt. Anyways, back to SC. I have clearly attention issues. See why me and my child is homeschool and can't work in nobody's office. She laughed at me there, What's she doing? You gonna pick up poop yet? She real poop outside to pick up, Hi, Linda, and good evening. Hi, Andrea. Okay. Although my daughter has 3 more years to go. But that's okay, Jen. That's fine. If that's okay. Who's eavesdropping? Yeah, she is. Always macroing my business,
Me?
Yes.
Hey, that's not nice.
That's not nice. Okay. Did I leave anything out, Brendan? I actually think I really covered it. Are there any questions, guys, on the whole, how to select the schools? Oh, this post is doing pretty well. Anyways, you could go into Care Parenting. Y'all can share the article, obviously. I think it was really very carefully written. I think it was clearly written. He obviously knew that, you know, I wouldn't understand it if it wasn't easy to understand, because I don't understand anything that's too technical and too smartly written. So he wrote it pretty clearly. I do like this Singapore illustration that he uses. I find it very funny as well, as I say, that he used Singapore, because it's just like slap in the face to everyone who complains about SE. In fact, actually, y'all saw me on TV6 last week. Oh, Lyndon, the topic is how to choose your SEA schools, because of course I put me not know in my thing. She was using the bathroom and she flushed in the middle of my live. I have to teach her not to flush in the middle of my live. My house not big enough and we're all gonna hear the flush. Jeez Louise. Righto, you can ask her anything you want. No, don't encourage asking anything I want. Ask on the topic. So the topic is about choosing SEA schools. Let me see. How do we zoom into this boy? This was such I thought this was a good idea, but I can't really actually see anything on this laptop. But I think I've covered it. Yes, my love. Yes. No, okay, hold on. Huh? I did once before. Okay, get lost with it. Okay, that's fine, go.
Ha! We have our private time.
Yes, we have our private time now. Mush. That's funny when that whole system needs changing. What do you think needs changing? Lyndon, I think you covered everything and stressing the point, of course, of knowing your child. Yes, that's so sweet. You're fine. Lilith, what are you doing? Right now, Lilith needs to go and do her list and stop being distracted. All kind of thing going on except this list. Come now, please, Bob.
Fine, I'm coming. I'm just
No, don't let me just do anything. Yo. Thank you.
I will have to pick up poop and then I'm on my list.
No, you're not on your list, yo. You have to, the days of the week to spell, the months of the year.
No, I'm not. I've done my days of the week and until the year.
Today?
Yes.
When?
Just now.
Math facts.
All I have to do is my math facts then.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, they cursive writing to the body.
Girl, I can't do my cursive writing without you. Don't write.
Okay, fine.
So,
I'll be done by the time you pick up poop.
No, you're not.
I will be. I have 7 more minutes.
It only takes me 2 minutes.
Yeah. The thing about the whole system needs changing. Actually, that's what I was gonna say before she flushed and like throw me off. I was if y'all had seen me on TV6 last week doing building a sustainable nation, and I presented on parenting, right? And somebody spoke about the education system, right? My thing is that we have to pick which part of the education system we're saying needs revamping, because we can't blame it on SE when kids in Singapore have a similar 11 plus placement exam and they have one of the best education systems in the world. So it's not necessarily SE, because then a lot of homeschooling moms, their kids go and sit SE like any regular day in school and tend to be placed very well. So we can't just say, well, get rid of SE, because that's not sensible. I have to pick up for Ministry of Education in terms of there is a lot of research going on. Their research department, their research unit is doing a fabulous job in terms of trying to figure out how what are the changes that can be made? Because I mean, we have to understand it's a massive project, right? If you ask me, I would just say like use a homeschooling curriculum. But I think like the numbers are a big issue as well. You have one teacher to a lot of kids. But I then all put it down to parenting. And actually I think on Wednesday what I will do is read out my presentation, because I'm trying to get my hands on the video of it, but I haven't been able to, so I'll just read out my presentation. But I think a lot of it comes down to the parenting, not necessarily to the system, because a lot of people like to blame it on the system. But when you have kids coming to school and they're coming to school without food and they're hungry or they're upset or they're angry or they haven't, I think being diagnosed is a big thing in Trinidad, right? If we were to say that something in the system needs to be fixed, I would say diagnosing kids, right? Because it's not, I mean, so we're talking, you know, like learning disabilities, but there are a lot of different things that need to be diagnosed. If someone's going through stuff at home, if someone's mental, if someone's emotional well-being and stuff is not taken care of, a teacher cannot necessarily, I mean, you're talking about 30 kids to one teacher, right? And each child learns differently. Each child, I mean, Jessie's processing isn't where it should be. It doesn't mean that, and she hasn't been put on to do anything like dyslexia or autism or anything like that. Just some of her working memory isn't necessarily where it can be, and she just has special things that she has to do to help develop that, right? Now, if she was in a typical school, she would probably be having a lot of meltdowns, because on top of her working memory not being where it should be, you have a child who's very competitive with herself. She's super, I mean, and no matter how much I say to her, it doesn't matter. She watches me in action, which, I mean, I can't change who I am. I can't change the bit about, you know, wanting things done with a certain level of excellence. Obviously, when you watch a mom who gets a lot of stuff done at home and whatnot, it's going to affect that. And so she has to work on being okay with getting something wrong, being okay with not being the best, being okay with that. So she has to work on taking herself so seriously. Put that with someone whose processing isn't like where it should be, and you have a proper meltdown in the public school system. Put a meltdown in the public school system, and this is something that we can maybe talk about again, the meltdown versus the tantrum. Because most people don't know that there's a difference between a meltdown and a tantrum. So then you're going to look at her and be like, well, she's spoiled, or she's looking for attention, or she's this, or she's that. When in truth and in fact, she's like pulling her hair out and she's going crazy because she is trying with all her might to figure something out. And the rest of the class is passing her by. And that's where we get a lot of violence in schools, because they're melting down in front of us. Nobody's taking them on. The meltdowns are a lot of times being punished because parents or teachers aren't understanding the difference between a meltdown and a tantrum and bad behavior, and them just being pushed to their limit and they cannot go anymore. Because a lot of times I see people upset and they go, why are you not understanding? You're not listening. They can't listen to something they don't understand. They are trying with the best intention. They are trying and they don't get it. So I don't necessarily think that it's our education system, but I think that we do have a lot of overcrowding, and we do have a lot of children that are differently abled. And when I say differently able, I am not particularly speaking about autism or dyslexia or whatever, but they're differently positioned, you know, they learn differently, they're differently stimulated. There are a lot of kids that are going through stuff at home. We have to understand how important things like divorce, how much it affects a child. If you look at the studies, boys are...
because that hurts me as well.
Okay, my love. Boys are not... Boys, but statistically, they don't necessarily handle divorce better, and it shows in their academics. That's how it shows for boys. So we may think girls are performing better, but it may be, again, a link to our increasing divorce rates they're affecting the academics and stuff. So we have not really gone to the surface. So we just tend to blame the education system, and we tend to blame, and we say the system needs overhauling. But it may not necessarily be that it needs overhauling. It may just be that in one classroom, if you have 30 kids, then you may want to have a teacher, a teacher's assistant, and then we need to have 1 or 2 guidance officers per class, not per school. You cannot have a guidance officer per school. Each class needs to be really, each child needs to be really looked at, what's going on at home, looking at your eating habits, check all of those kinds of things. So that I would say, and I mean, if anybody were to ask my opinion on the matter, is where the money should be spent. How to choose a school based on a child's performance. Jen, is that a question, or is that answering somebody's question? Like, as in what the topic is? My dear teachers, and many cannot even spot ADDH, attention deficit disorder. I think that's a ADHD. Well, maybe it's just put wrong. Well, I have a theory on ADHD. I think we diagnose it not too much, if you ask me, in Trinidad. And I think that might just be because children generally need to run. And if they run, then they wouldn't have problems focusing in school. So that's another thing. I do generally, I always say that I think children need to be outside running more, and we are too closed up. And if you look at children needing an hour of active play and stuff, like they say it must be anaerobic, which means that the heart rate must be really, really pumping, and they must be sweating, like not being outside, like just playing on a playground. Like that's not even enough. So it's 1 hour a day of real sweat, heart pumping, stuff like that. And I think that I think it's in France or Germany, one of those European countries had done something on that as well, where they were saying that they were lowering their rates of ADHD because they were increasing the rates of activity in children. And if we go back to being a society where we're outdoors and we're running and we're sweaty, I think you'd find that kids can concentrate a little bit better. I have no idea. I think y'all are How to choose schools based on, okay. So you need to use the portfolios, right? Yes, you may want to push her to make over 90. I don't know where you, like, what age is she at? Is she in standard 5? If she's in standard 5 and you're choosing schools now and she's still consistently hitting 80, then you may want to go for a St. Francois. If she's in standard 1, standard 3, and you still want to push her, if by the time she's hitting standard 5, if she's reached standard 5 and she's pushing the high 90s, then go right ahead. But, I mean, we have to ask ourselves hard questions like, is this something that I want? Like, is it my pride that I want her to go to St. Joseph, or I want her to impress everybody? Because that is a real thing. I mean, everybody like to go, what she pass for? What she this? What she that? What she this? Like, get over it. Yes, I do think that some of the prestigious schools are prestigious for a reason. Basic things like bathroom facilities. I mean, I go into some bathrooms in some schools and I want to cry sometimes, to be honest. Like, I really do. Because I don't have the finances, the energy, the time to change the amount of things that I really want to. But so there are benefits. There are real benefits to going to a prestigious school. But figure out how to get to the 90. I mean, how are you getting to the 90? Is there a reason she's not hitting the 90s? Is there something out of the box that you can do to get to the 90 versus just doing practice tests? Is she not grasping something? Can you take her somewhere to just test how she learns best? What are, the different working memories, the different processing? Is everything in order? Can you do some of those things to add to the helping her get to 90? Okay, hold on. Because there is no information on schools based on their actual performance. I don't want her to pass based on my pride, but on what she can do, but to let her attend one based on her actual performance. So, when you say actual performance, I think you mean the percentage scored at SCA, which is what the school portfolio on the care parenting page shows. You know, we posted pictures of the different percentages and what they do, how well their extracurricular is and stuff like that. So go through that, and it's done in districts, in, you know, based on their area and stuff. Go through that and look at the schools and go through each one of the schools and see, because I mean, like, people always say, but I didn't even know about that school. And I'm sure the schools will be fine if you guys went and looked at some of the schools as well. So if you see schools where, you know, the percentages, I would say you look for 85% school, and, you know, highlight them, print out the list, highlight them, go and check out the schools and see what they're like, see if it's somewhere that she likes. And then it will be based on her actual performance. You're afraid she may fail at high prestige. Well, okay, so then that's perfect. So find schools. Which area are you in, Jen? Because it's based on areas there. So I would suggest to go and look at the school portfolios. If you want, you could private message me after. But look at the school portfolios, because I think that's the best place to start. Looking at the school portfolios that are on the care page. Again, I do not know why I cannot change it, but if it's a phone, all you have to do is turn your phone. If it's a laptop, well, I'm sorry, but print it out and go through, because it will tell you what the percentage required is, right? And then you can highlight those 80% schools, and you can see which schools look, you know, good. Marval. So then St. Francois is a good first choice. Providence is a good first choice, because I think those schools actually require 75 to 85% or something like that, right? And those are pretty good schools that do require a lower percentage. And you find that a lot of people put Providence, very few people will put a Providence as like first choice, right? Because they want to go St. Joseph and they want to go Holy Name. So, you know, if you were to say, I'm going to put Providence as a first choice, then you'll give her a good head start. I do not know what Bishops is, but you can check Bishops as well, right? So check out the percentages of the schools, because you may be able to find a pretty decent school. I mean, there are definitely a lot of decent schools in Port of Spain hitting at the 80% that you can find and put as a first choice. I think St. James Sec is a pretty good school. I don't know their percentage, because they may be a second choice school if you're looking at an 80% school. So go through the portfolios of the schools. I think that's a really, really good guideline. And yeah, I hope this has been helpful. I'm scrolling my mouse as if that could control my phone. Right? I think that's it. Teachers beat you for wetbacks. Yes, they do. We do need to get over that. Guys, maybe y'all should champion. Come, let's form, well, actually, I was about to say let's form a parent support committee, but that is called NPTA. Just now, I think I'm going to start a petition. I should have done my petition instead of fighting up with Rowley and Imbert and them. I should have done my petition for maybe revamping NPTA, because we do have a National Parent Teachers Association that should be championing all these causes for us. And I'm not sure what's going on, but I certainly know we are called to no parent-teacher meeting for us to be able to champion and have collaboration to say stuff like that. Because I would certainly think that we need to bring back a lot more activity, physical activity, into schools. Right. Guys, I love you. Send me some hearts. Look, my child looking. My child say nobody was watching me in the beginning. So send hearts, send hearts, send hearts. Marsha for Education Minister. No, I do not want to be Education Minister at all. I want to be social minister, whatever that is. Social, some social ministry. Because remember, I think, again, if the home is done correctly, if kids are really feeling comfortable and if they're diagnosed, and again, when I say diagnosed, I mean in terms of emotion and everything, her toe hurts and she sticks it up, like the amount of times I get his foot in my face.
It hurts.
I know it hurts. That's why I told you to soak it, but you're not listening to me.
Because you don't want to.
Because you don't want to.
You should do it.
You want me to do it. Okay, I'm ending my live now. Right. So yeah, I do believe if we fix the home, that the education will actually work a lot easier. Okay, guys, I love you. Be sure to share. And once again, I'm going for my mouse instead of my phone. Bye. Enjoy your week.
Bye-bye. Wait.
Oh, wait.
Bye-bye.